To be fair, I think after the third goal, I think we showed that we have learned the lesson. We just didn't learn it quick enough.
Hi, Kieran. You started obviously in dream fashion, but that was a lesson in the ruthlessness of this team and this league.
Yeah, that was one of the lessons today. So we got off to a fantastic start, scored a great goal in the transition, probably the exact goal that we wanted to score today, and we knew that we could score with their line being high and Samuel O'Mari making runs behind, and he finishes it off well. So we got off to a great start, and then of course the game was lost in a 5-minute spell where there's some big lessons for us to learn, and I'm sure we'll do that. The first goal is a penalty where it's not at a very dangerous situation. Of course, a 1v1, but you're going to have to face them in this level. But being disciplined to not give away the penalty is really important, and a 1-0 lead that if we had have managed to hold on to for 10-15 minutes, I think the base was there for us to have a really competitive game today. I think everyone was comfortable with the plan that we came in with and how we executed in the first few minutes. But 1-0 goes to 2-1 in the space of a matter of seconds, more so than minutes, and the feel of the game changes completely. And what I think is positive and what was important from 3-1 that we managed to get back hold of the game. We managed to show resilience. The team stayed together, and we went from whatever it was, the 16th minute to the 88th minute without conceding. Of course, they had chances in the first half, but second half, I think we defended well as a team and didn't give away too many opportunities. I think we had, in my eyes, a clear penalty that we should have went in at 3-2. I know City could have had other goals, but I think we should go in at 3-2. It's a really hard one to stand out. It wasn't given, especially with the intervention on the first goal, and we could have went in at 3-2. So yeah, there's positives to take. There's of course some big lessons that you get from facing a team at this level, and that's normal for us to go through that with where the team and where the group and where the individuals are at. But again, I think it'll be a positive experience for us in the season.
Yeah. You've had the toughest real possible start. Are you seeing enough in your team to encourage you that you can compete against the other teams in the Premier League?
Yeah, I am. And not to say that we've been, we were in any way dominant or we didn't manage to make the game competitive enough today. But I've seen enough in moments. Of course, last week we made a really competitive game for 60 minutes against Liverpool, and we showed the atmosphere, the intensity that we can play with at Portman Road and how difficult we can make it for teams coming there. And today there wasn't, we didn't have as much of the game for sure, but we scored our first goal. We showed that we can come to the best team in the league away from home, and on a difficult day to play against City as well. Let's be honest, it's their first home game. They've had a full training week. This is their first game back here since they won the league. There's great positivity around it. It was always going to be a difficult day to play in, but we showed we can come here, we can score on the transition. And of course, the spell of chances that they had and goals that they had is a lesson that a period that we have to learn from, similar to last week where Liverpool in some ways scored 2 goals in 5 minutes. So we have to improve in those moments. But on the other hand, we've shown in very small periods of the game that we could play with the ball and play bravely and take the ball. It wasn't enough today, but it was maybe 4 or 5 moments in the game. We have to turn that into 8, 9, 10 and many more moments. I thought there was a lot of individual performances that were positive for us, stepping up to the level. And I think we'll have taken a lot from the first 2 games. We'd like to be sitting here with points on the board, but we know the fixture list meant that was going to be really difficult. We know we're in an adaptation process. We're coming with a group with so many who've climbed from League One in a very short space of time. We're now trying to integrate new players into that. That's not going to be an overnight process, but I think week by week we'll learn our lessons, and I'm sure it will improve over the weeks and months to come.
Second goal, you've spoken before last season about goalkeepers being brave on the ball and that you don't have a go at them for that. And same today as perhaps with similar goals, a couple of similar goals last season.
I think it was probably a game management one today a little bit. It wasn't necessarily bravery or overplaying. We didn't get caught passing it. We just got caught with too much time on the ball, taking too much time on the ball in a situation where a fantastic team have just scored a goal and they're going to come after you and you're not going to have very much time. So I didn't think it was necessarily a playing out from the back situation. It was a game management situation that we didn't do well enough, and we have to learn from.
Stuart. Similar lesson from the Liverpool game when you said at 1-0, stop it going 2-3, and that little period where you can feel a turn and a twist in the game and you've got to react to that. Is that Is that again the lesson today?
Yeah, it is. It is. And to be fair, I think after the third goal, I think we showed that we have learned the lesson. We just didn't learn it quick enough after the first goal went in. But I think, you know, there was positive signs from that when the third goal's in. The players got together on the pitch. They pulled themselves in. They stayed together. We showed resilience in the next spell. Of course, when the momentum's that strongly against you, there's still going to be some chances, but we showed some resilience within it. Nobody dropped their head. Our shape never really opened up. We didn't have huge organisational issues. We were just, by how we managed that 5-minute spell, we put ourselves in massive negative momentum, and we had to sort of fight to stay in the game in that period and claw some of that momentum back. And we've done that pretty well, to be honest. And I say, bar for, you know, a decision that's, you know, from my view, pretty hard to understand. We go in at 3-2, and in the second half, until the 88th minute, we're a couple of minutes away from coming back in and saying, okay, we've drew the second half. It wasn't the game that we wanted it to be. We weren't able to be as aggressive as we wanted to be, but the 5-minute spell in the game that we had dictated that wasn't going to be possible today, and we had to protect ourselves a little bit more. But the group done that well, and we were really close to coming in and saying that from 3-1 on 16 minutes. You know, the game very almost finished up in that situation, and actually with a penalty that could have been a little bit different the other way.
Clarification on that, why that one didn't go to VAR, but the first one did?
No, the fourth official gave a signal that that it had been turned down for VAR, and they had looked at it. So I promised myself I don't want to speak too often about VAR coming into the league, to be honest. I think the only thing I'd say is possibly there's a little bit of a difference at times when there's a situation like the first goal where the play stopped, and then the situation after our penalty appeal is different because City have the ball and they keep it for a minute, and it's easier to forget about it. But yeah, I've seen it live. I thought it was nailed on. I've seen one replay. You know, maybe I need to see a little bit more, but I thought, you know, Leaf had one arm being pulled and another defender come across and swiped across his legs, and from the angle I've seen, it's hard to see how it's not given.
All good? Yeah.
Thanks,
you very
guys.
much. Cheers.
Thank you.